Hey, babe.
Given that's how we live it, don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I love you. God loves you best. Hello, hello, hello. You are tuned in to Ronnie P TV. I am yours truly, Ronnie P. And tonight we will be reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 10, Episode 16. This episode is entitled Until Decision Day, Do We Part? This episode really didn't give too much, but it just summarized everything that's gone over the journey these past 8 weeks of the experiment. And the couples come together and they decide, should they stay or should they go? Will they remain married or will they get a divorce? It pretty much went the way I thought it would go, but we're going to review nonetheless. We're going to start with Austin and Jessica. And their initial and pretty much only issue was when Austin was going to express his love for Jessica. I don't know why the L word was so difficult to say as far as it being said, not by Austin, but just being verbalized. The word is love. Why did it become so taboo? Because he wasn't ready to say it. He wanted it to be right. He wanted to know that he meant it when he said it, even though he felt it, but he still wanted to be certain and sure. And there's nothing wrong with that, because as Pastor Cal has said in previous episodes and previous seasons, love is not a feeling, it's a principle. Just like if it was, feelings are fickle and feelings change. We have many feelings and emotions. We have happiness, sadness, fear, anger, confusion. So it changes. But your love for a person hopefully grows. And even if it stops growing, when you walk away, if you should decide to walk away, there should still be something there when you can say, I loved this person because, or I still have love for this person because. So love really never truly goes away if it was ever real. So that was the whole gist of their whole issue this season. And so he finally said, I love you. And of course, when it came down to their decision of should they stay together or should they divorce, Jessica expressed her love and adoration for Austin and said that she would like to stay married. And he in return shared the same sentiment. And so they decided to stay married. Cheers and celebrations. Congratulations to you both, Austin and Jessica. I wish you nothing but the best of love and happiness, peace and goodwill. So then, oh God, we have Brandon and Taylor. Now, I really feel like this was unnecessary, but we have to go through the process of everyone who participated, I presume. So I just want to point out, one, how the production and cameras did Taylor dirty, but it satisfied my spirit so much how when she was getting into the truck to drive to the venue, they just panned in on her nails. And I was like, girl, if it's acrylics, you need a fill. If it's the dip, you need to soak off and reapply. But whatever it was, even though it was still intact, it was growed out beyond 2 weeks and they needed to be done. And then they were doing some back and forths with after what's his name? Brandon had decided that he wasn't going to film anymore, but he was still seeing Taylor. And so when he would come to the apartment, they have the security cams on, of course. There was one scene I was like, does Taylor have her t-shirt and her panties on? T-shirt and her panties on. I was like, okay, girl, what you doing? What you doing? What you doing? What you doing? So now I have to ask, and I wonder in my mind, not too much because I really don't care, but I do ponder and wonder if Brandon and Taylor consummated their marriage, or were they just feely, touchy? I don't know. But we're going to go ahead and say that they didn't, because we know that Brandon was actually the first to get an annulment. Spoiler alert. Yes, he got an annulment way early on. And I was like, wow, it's online. They actually have clips in the papers of the decree. He said also, if he couldn't get an annulment, he would just go along with a traditional divorce that was satisfactory for him. He just wanted it to be filed. And the paperwork is online if you want to go to Maryland Clerk of Courts. It's there for your viewing pleasure. Okay. This is how I feel about Brandon. Okay. I guess I was giving Brandon a lot of slack, but he was just being a complete and total ass. He showed his ass. He was being an ass and disrespectful, not only to the experts, but to, again, production and all of the viewers, because that's not what we tuned in for. He wasn't even giving us like drama. He was just giving us diva moments. Like he was being a real divo. Oh, the day. Oh, the minute. And he said his issues, this whole process, was because production made him late for work twice. And I have to agree with Pastor Cal. Lies. The lies you tell Brandon, because this whole time your issue, or what you've been expressing was your issue, was the fact that you didn't feel comfortable filming in front of the cameras. The cameras were the issue. You never mentioned any time at all that these people had made you late for work. Had you said that, I would still be on your side and be like, you know what? He gives a lot of dramatics. He's a whole telenovela scene, but you laid somebody late for work. But you've never mentioned that this whole time. You just said that you weren't here for the show and you felt uncomfortable with the cameras. And I was okay with that, because everybody isn't comfortable being with like a whole bunch of cameras around them. And that's not like something that, I get it. But for you to switch it now, I was like, no, we're not going there. And Pastor Cal said, no, don't accept. So when that didn't work and he didn't get enough of a rise out of people, then he decided, well, you know what? I need a potty break. I need to go to the restroom. And I was here with Pastor Cal. Are you incontinent? Do we need to get you a Depends? Like, sit your ass down and finish this little segment. No, Brandon couldn't do that. He had to tiptoe to the bathroom and wee. Okay, if you gotta. And when he came back, they were talking. You can see there's pins and needles and people are walking on eggshells, and I don't know why, but I guess for the sake of just trying to keep it together for the scene. Taylor then expresses her pros and cons of the journey, and she expresses to him that she would like a divorce. He pauses and then he says, okay, I'm over it. I'm done. And I think he was over and done because he didn't get to do it first. I really believe that was Brandon's issue. He didn't get to say it first. So he felt like, again, this is production, again, trying to work against him and set him up and make him look crazy. No, Brandon, you do a good job of that all by yourself. No one has to do it for you, honey bunny. So we know that they are X. Then we come to Mika and Michael. Before I even get started with them, I just want to say that Mika's hair and Mika's dress, round of applause. Beautiful. It was everything that I wanted it to be. I loved it. I love when she wears her natural hair and she has the curls, and she had like this really beautiful faux hawk going on. It was everything. And then she had on this really pastel pink dress, and it was kind of like off the shoulder, and then it had a little flare at the bottom. It was beautiful. It was form-fitting. She has beautiful shape. Girl, thank you so much for just coming and blessing the screen, just looking beautiful. I think you did amazing on your selection of wardrobe. And Michael looked nice too. He really did. They come in, they sit down, and their issue all of this time has been honesty. And because there has been a lack or no honesty, a lack and no honesty, that created a trust issue. So we had an issue with honesty and trust. Who created these issues? Michael created the issue of dishonesty, and there was a mutual agreement that there was distrust on both sides. I really don't feel like Michael ever had a reason to distrust Mika, but he said he didn't feel comfortable. There were a lot of times that he didn't feel like he was able to really truly express himself. I really feel like if you're confident in yourself, no matter who it is, I guess I'm not intimidated by anyone, so I don't know what that feels like. I know what it's like to be nervous around a group of people, but never intimidated by a group of people or a person. So for him to be reluctant to just be honest and forthcoming about whatever the issue is was all kinds of red flags. And soon as honesty was mentioned, the word honesty was mentioned, he rolls his eyes a lot. I don't know if it's a nervous condition, because he bats his eyes a lot. And he's always rolling his eyes. And he had the Bill Cosby Jell-O pudding pop face. He just kept pursing his lips, and you know that look. And so I was like, bruh, it's all about you. Then when he started to speak and Pastor Cal wanted to know, do you hold yourself accountable? Do you see where you created this clusterfuck of an issue? And he said, I do. So clear, simple, to the point. I appreciated it. Thank you, Michael, for acknowledging, accepting responsibility for your lack of accountability throughout this experiment. But thank you for being accountable now. I guess now is what matters, because that's all we're going to get. But when he decided to quote the Bible, and for everybody or anybody who might not know what I'm speaking of, I should have had this ready, but this is what we're speaking of. He quoted Proverbs 24:16. Shout out to my bae for looking out. But here we go. He quoted Proverbs 24:16. If you don't know what I'm talking about, here we go. He says, for a righteous man may fall 7 times and rise again. All I can say, if that wasn't Satan showing up, that was Satan himself showing up on the scene. And I don't know why Pastor Cal didn't call him on it and was like, oh, now you want to quote scripture? Well, thanks a lot, Michael. You should have been quoting and praying when you kept lying. What? Thou shalt not lie, Michael. Focus on that. Just focus on that for right now. Thou shalt not lie. But he said he believes that he's accountable. They sat there, they discussed, and then when it was all said and done, Mika acknowledged the positives, but it wasn't enough positives in 8 weeks to sum up in 2 days. And she said, I'd like a divorce. Michael actually looked disappointed. Like, these actors are amazing. Like, these are the people that should be acting. The sociopaths and psychopaths of the world and the narcissists of the world. They are the true actors, because he really went to a place in himself and was like, I am going to embody disappointment and confusion. He looked like he was confused and he was disappointed with what she had just said and saying, this is a no-go. And so he says, well, I don't believe in divorce. Well, you believe in it today because that's her final answer. And then we have Derek and Katie. As far as I'm concerned, the only issue in their relationship was Katie. Okay? Don't like. And Katie expressed that she felt like they were still in the friend zone. And she kept saying that. And I personally took it as, okay, this sounds like a dig, like you're coming for him, because this was the whole issue in the beginning. And it really sounded like she wanted to say, I don't want to stay together. I really believe that her honest answer was, I want a divorce. But because Derek went first and he said, I would like to stay married, she said, okay, I want to stay married too. That's just my opinion. You don't have to agree. Leave it down in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Last and definitely least, I don't even know why they were here, Zach and Mindy. All we know is that Mindy doubled down on what she said and let us know that leaving Zach was the best decision that she had made. And since she had been freed from him, she could breathe again, breathe again. With no Zach, I can now breathe again. I was loving it. Like, I gave a lot of applauses today. So they were here for the applause. And I'm proud of everybody who made the right decision. And that would be all the couples except for Derek and Katie. I really feel like Derek should have just went back to his job, got her removed from his insurance, and sent her on her merry way. Let her keep her townhome. Let mom and dad figure it out. Maybe they could help her with some diabetic supplies and some counseling sessions and sent her on her merry way. But they decided to stay together, Mindy decided, no, I'm going to double down and I don't want to stay married. And then the couples met up after decisions, and the singles also met up with the remaining couples. And the only sour face in the group, and the camera made sure to catch it, was, you guessed it, Michael. Michael was a Sour Patch Kid. But hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles. This was the review for this episode. Like I said, it wasn't very much, but I would love to hear your opinions. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Don't forget to thumbs up and share if you care. Most importantly, subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much. It is always a pleasure to spend time with you, and I will be back to you next week with the season finale, which seems like it is going to be a very, very, very good, because not only do we find out about Katie and an infidelity, but we also find out that there are some couples that wanted to swap partners, not voluntarily, involuntarily. They were trying to be on the hookup. So we will definitely be finding out some information that we did not know, and I am looking forward to it. Thank you so much for spending time with me, and until next time, bye.